Hello! Today we are going to be talking all about present levels in an IEP or an individualized education program. If you are looking for information to better understand IEPs, then this video is for you. My name is Kathleen, by the way, and I am a dyslexic here to help other dyslexics. I support busy, overwhelmed parents to help understand their child's frustration with dyslexia so they can support, encourage, and empower their child. If you are looking for more information about the IEP, I'm going to go ahead and link last week's video right here for you, 3 advantages of having an IEP. Are you ready? Let's get into this video. So if you're thinking, what are present levels? Then first off, present levels in an IEP have multiple names. So the first one can be present level. The second one can be present level of performance. The next one could be present levels of academic performance. But basically, you're looking for something that has present levels. So this is a snapshot of exactly where the student is right now academically. For parents, this can be very challenging to read because it's talking about how the child does not progress as well as other peers. And so this is talking about the deficits where the child is currently struggling. This is hard to read, but unfortunately, this is how present levels are currently written. It might mention a strength or two, but it's definitely going to hit every area that the child is struggling in. This is the backbone of the IEP. So this will drive all of the rest of the IEP. So some examples in present level could talk about, especially for a dyslexic, could talk about reading. So if they are struggling in reading, which most dyslexics are, it will talk about where they currently are, if they can read like CVC words, CVC with the E on the end, so long vowel words. It will talk about all of that. And so it might also mention the modifications needed for the child to make progress and learn the way they need to. So they might not, most of the time, will be in the gen ed classroom during reading. They will be in their own, like the resource room, learning the way they need to with like a structured literacy program. There probably will also be a spelling goal, or talks about spelling and how there are certain things that they can't spell and that they cannot learn as many spelling words as their gen ed peers can. And so it might talk about how they need to have reduced spelling. And it might also talk about how spelling is not counted towards their grades. So spelling will not be counted. And you can also talk about comprehension. So once they read something to themselves, can they turn around and answer comprehension questions based on that? Most of the time, dyslexics have to read it a couple of times to understand, or use assistive technology to understand what they are reading or what is being read to them. And there is nothing wrong with assistive technology. I love assistive technology because I feel like I get my time back with assistive technology instead of having to read the exact same thing somebody else reads once and totally understands and can answer comprehension questions. I have to read it at least twice, if not more, before I can answer those same questions because I'm so busy reading, trying to make sure, is that the word I'm really reading? Does that make sense? Is this that? What is that word? Oh my goodness. And the comprehension piece and all that is just gone at that point. And so then you have to read it again once you figure out all the words. So when you use assistive technology for comprehension and helping students understand what they're reading, it really does give them their time back. So assistive technology is one of the key pieces that needs to be included in the IEP to help them make the adequate progress that they need. Another one could be math. If they are having a hard time with math, like learning math facts, it could possibly say that they have been working really hard at learning their math facts. It's just not working. So we're going to give them the accommodation of having a graphic organizer or a multiplication sheet to help them. Another math one that is very common for a dyslexic is word problems. Word problems are very difficult because you're combining reading and basic arithmetic together, and this becomes a lot. And so having those questions read to them changes it and helps them focus on what is saying instead of trying to understand what is being read. I remember when I was working with my alphabetic phonics teacher, or my Orton Gillingham tutor, and she said that I always got stumped on the names. And she just looked at me and she said, just skip the names. Come up with a name. It doesn't matter. Don't spend so much time trying to understand and figure out what the name is. If you want to call him A, call him A. Doesn't matter. And once we got that established, that it's okay not to worry about when reading a word problem who their names were, it definitely helped that I was able to focus on what the problem was saying instead of who it was about, because it didn't really matter. And so that's one of the things is when you're doing this, just go ahead and have them substitute a different name to make it work, or just skip the name and just say A. It really, really helps with that. And so these are just a few of the areas you're probably going to see with present levels of academic performance or present levels. Sometimes the present levels can also go on to talk about like social skills or organizational skills or other things. So present levels don't just include academics. Present levels can also include other things besides academics. They can include organizational skills, social skills, time management skills, other things like that to help support the academic goals listed in the IEP in places that they are struggling. Because dyslexia just isn't about reading, writing, and math. That is where dyslexia shows up. But it also shows up with executive functioning skills. That includes keeping things organized, because sometimes we can't remember when something is due or that something is due. So they can either take a picture of it or write it in a planner, and goals like that can be written to also help support the child in learning life skills and things to help them support once they are outside of school. That's all I have for present levels of performance or present levels. I hope you found this information useful, and if you are wanting more information about the IEP, well, I have a course called IEP Made Easy, and it is here to help any parent who's trying to better understand the IEP. It also talks about how you are the most valuable part of the IEP because you're the consistent part of the IEP. As principals, educators, tutors, all of that will change over time. You are the one and only consistent piece in an IEP. And so you need to be a valuable part. And if you don't know how to be that valuable part, then go ahead and click the link in my description and read about IEP Made Easy. It's 6 modules broken down for you so you can understand every single part of the IEP and be ready to walk in with confidence in the next IEP. I can't wait to share all this information with you. If you have any questions about the IEP, go ahead and send me an email at hello@dyslexiclabs.com. I can't wait to connect with you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.